Calm sea with rising sun over the Pacific Ocean. In October 94, the calm blue waters around the Philippines became the stage for one of the most colossal clashes in naval history, the Battle of Leyte Gulf. It was here that the Imperial Japanese Navy made its final, desperate attempt to turn the tide of war, and it was here that the United States Navy, joined by Allied forces, would crush that hope forever. General Douglas MacArthur stepping ashore at Leyte, October 20, 1944. 2 years earlier, General Douglas MacArthur had been forced to leave the Philippines, promising, "I shall return." By 94, with the Allies advancing across the Pacific, MacArthur was ready to fulfill that promise. On October 20th, U.S. troops landed on the beaches of Leyte Island. MacArthur waded ashore and declared, "A people of the Philippines, I have returned." But behind this moment of triumph, the Japanese Imperial Navy was preparing a deadly counterattack. Most of Japanese fleet routes toward Leyte Gulf, facing inevitable defeat, Japan launched Operation Showan, a bold, multi-pronged plan to annihilate the Allied invasion fleet. 3 separate naval forces would converge on Leyte Gulf from different directions, north, south, and center, hoping to trap the Allied forces on the beaches. It was an audacious, desperate move that would lead to chaos on the seas. U.S. carrier aircraft launching over the Sibuyan Sea. On October 23rd, American submarines spotted the approaching Japanese center force, led by Admiral Takeo Kurita. What followed was a series of air strikes from U.S. carrier aircraft over the Sibuyan Sea. Torpedoes and bombs rained down, sinking the massive battleship Musashi, one of the largest ever built. Still, Kurita pressed forward U.S. destroyers firing in the night, Surigao Strait. That night, the Southern Force under Admiral Nishimura entered Surigao Strait, straight into an ambush. Admiral Jesse Oldendorf executed a textbook maneuver known as crossing the T. U.S. battleships, cruisers, and destroyers unleashed devastating firepower. By dawn, the Japanese Southern Force was annihilated. It was the last time battleships would ever fight each other in line of battle. Escort carriers under attack, smoke rising. Meanwhile, Kurita's center force emerged from the San Bernardino Strait, unexpectedly confronting a small group of U.S. escort carriers. Taffy 3. The Americans were outnumbered and outgunned, yet the tiny escort ships fought like lions. Destroyers charged at Japanese battleships, launching torpedoes at point-blank range. Pilots without bombs made mock attacks, diving to draw fire. Against all odds, Kurita believed he was facing a much larger force and retreated, sparing the invasion fleet from destruction. It became one of the most heroic naval defenses in history. Japanese carriers burning at Kapangano. To the north, Admiral Ozawa's northern force served as a decoy. Though his aircraft carriers had few planes left, they successfully lured Admiral Halsey's powerful Third Fleet away from Leyte. But once discovered, Ozawa's carriers were relentlessly attacked. All 4 of them were sunk. By October 26th, the Imperial Japanese Navy was shattered, its carrier fleet destroyed, its battleships crippled, and its hope extinguished. U.S. Navy ships anchored at Leyte Gulf after victory. The Battle of Leyte Gulf was the largest naval battle ever fought, involving more than 300 ships and hundreds of aircraft. It marked the end of Japan's ability to wage large-scale naval war. From then on, the Japanese would rely increasingly on kamikaze attacks, and a tragic sign of desperation. The victory at Leyte opened the road to the liberation of the Philippines and the eventual defeat of Japan. Veterans of Leyte Gulf, modern-day commemoration. Today, Leyte Gulf stands as a symbol of courage, sacrifice, and strategy on a massive scale. For the men who fought there and on both sides, it was a battle of survival, honor, and history's turning point. In the vast silence of the Pacific, the echoes of that battle still linger.